Well, hello. Little poolside pontification. It looks like it's a lovely day, but in the background I hear thunder. Sort of is the reason why I'm going to make this video. Went to sleep, woke up, Bitcoin's down to $105,200 or something. Now, you know, it was just $125,600 on the 5th of this month. And I guess today is the 17th of the month, I guess. 17th. So 12 days ago, it was $125,600. Now it's $105,200. And this feels very familiar. As a person who has never sold a sat, I can tell you, this feels just like the fear and greed index dropping like a rock. It's where all the big boys put on their big boys pants and they squeeze the weak hands who are just going nuts. Oh my God, it's 108,000. I can't take any more. I can't lose any more money. I bought it at 123,000. Now it's 108,000. I gotta sell. And then we get the weak guys. He says, my God, it's down to 107,000. I bought it at 120,000. I'm losing. I can't take no more. I gotta sell. And they get all the weak minds and all the weak hands, and they get them all to sell before what they know they're going to do, and they're going to just stop selling. They're getting all those weak hands, and they're saying, look, we know y'all got in. We know y'all bought in at 100. You bought in at 110. You bought in at 115. You bought in at 120, and you have no conviction. You have no conviction. You don't care. You don't care. You just bought in. Now we're going to crush the price because we got a lot of Bitcoin, and we're going to sell Bitcoin. And it's going to go down, and then I wake up, it's 105,000. And I can hear in the ethos of the internet all those people screaming, it's 105,000. I bought in at 104,000. I can't lose all my profit. I got to sell. All these weak minds, all these weak hands, they sell. Oh my God, they sell. They can't hold on no more. I'm not exaggerating. They feel that pain and they say, I got no conviction. I was only doing it because I thought I could buy in at 115. It was going to 160. I heard down the internet. It didn't go 160. Now it's 105. It's lost 10%. Can't stand it. I got to get out. And soon, all those weak people, they'll be gone. And they'll be stung just enough to not get back in. And then the OGs will buy back the coins that they just sold to depress the price. They'll start buying them back. You know, the guy who's got 10,000 coins, who sold 5,000 of them to knock the price down, he'll start buying them back. And then the price will go up. And more people will want in, but there won't be any more weak minds out there to sell. They'll all be washed out. So now people want in, they say, no, I'm not selling you any for 110. It's 111 now. 112, 113, 115, 118, 120. 125, 127, and off to the moon you go. And nobody will want to sell. And then gold. People who are in gold will be selling their gold trying to get into Bitcoin. And let me give you a little bit of clue on that. There's a ratio of the price of the Dow Jones average compared to the price of gold. And when gold's real high, the ratio goes higher. And on a regular scale, 3 times in history has it been this high. 1929, 1974, during the oil embargoes and high inflation, and we just came off the gold standard. The price of gold was accelerating from $35 an ounce. It tripled. 2008, during the great financial crisis, with the housing crisis and the debt crisis of the houses, the subprime crisis, and now, once again, it's that high in 2025, October. 4 times. The Great Depression of 1929, where people were throwing themselves out of skyscrapers in New York because they lost everything. 1974, when the country had super high inflation and the dollar was devaluing, and we came off the gold standard thanks to our good tricky Dick Nixon. And then 2008, during the financial crisis, when Wall Street titans like Lehman Brothers went out of business through their derivative plays. And today, why today? Because the debasement's so high today. The debt to GDP ratio is so high today. It's that bad. Now, gold is going to take a tumble. I don't know if it's going to be in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. Don't know, but gold's going to take a tumble. It's went nowhere but up. And when Bitcoin starts to go up, those people who came into gold when it was 3,000 or whatever, I remember when I left the United States, I had some gold and I sold it. And I sure didn't get over 4,000 an ounce for it. It was about 1,800 if you were lucky back then. Sometimes it was high 1,700s. That would have been June of 2022. Well, I remember I got a fly buzzing me. Hey, come on, fly. Where are you? Where are you? I hate flies. Anyway, where was I? Oh, it was 2022, and Bitcoin was way down low too. Well, this is what this feels like. Now, will Bitcoin turn around tomorrow? I'm not sure. Can it still go down to 100 or 98, 95? It's possible. I don't think so. I don't think it'll go lower than 100. But remember what happened from November 5th of 2024 when Trump won the election in the United States? What the price of Bitcoin did from November of 2024 through December? It shot up a bunch. If I remember right, it went from like 69,000 to over 100,000. Well, that was almost a 100% move. Could it go from the high of 125 up to 200? I don't know. It's possible. Look, if nobody wants to sell, the price will go up. And the only way you get all those weak hands out is to scare them to death. And the OGs know that. You know, back in the old days of Bitcoin, They used to have something I didn't know about at the time, but they used to have something called Bitcoin faucets, where the rich OGs would literally give away Bitcoin 2 or 3 at a time. You just go to their faucet and they give you the Bitcoin. They were trying to spread it out. Well, let me get up here and touch this, see if this goes bright. This thing is so, I don't know what it is. I can't even see myself anymore. This is my new iPhone 17. And it's Bitcoin orange, of course. I just wanted to make this little video to tell y'all, if you got weak hands, sell now, get the hell out, and let the rest of us make money when the time's right. Don't be so scared to sleep at night that you have to have a night light on. Do you need a night light to sleep? Do you? I don't need a night light to sleep. Well, some people do. Bitcoin's not for the faint of heart. It's for those who want to save their wealth. And in the price of Bitcoin, you know, I saw a chart on the internet the other day. You can look it up. The price of gold in Bitcoin for an ounce of gold. In 2020, it cost over 120 coins of Bitcoin to buy an ounce of gold. Today, it's 3% of a Bitcoin. One Bitcoin can maybe buy 30 ounces of gold, 25 ounces of gold. So it goes, in 5 years, it's went for gold, took 120 Bitcoin per ounce down to 3% of one Bitcoin per ounce. So who actually made money holding gold? They'll come back to Bitcoin. The only thing gold's went up against is the dollar and other fiat junk currencies. Bitcoin's the only thing in which the buying power is getting better. So don't be scared. You can be disappointed it hasn't come yet, okay? But that's partially because of the institutional adoption of Bitcoin. Don't think that with all these power players having a piece of it, that there isn't some manipulation going on by the big money, too. People who have the big money, they can push this price around. They can push it around. They got thousands of Bitcoin. They got in when the getting was good, when they were giving it away. Don't be scared. And if you're in MicroStrategy, well, don't be scared there either, because when Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy will follow. Now, will MicroStrategy have a 2.5 MNAV? I don't know. But it'll be a hell of a lot higher than it is now when Bitcoin goes way up. I know right now it's tough to be in MicroStrategy, and nobody says you have to be, but you have to be in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's not going to give any warning. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be down in the dumps, and then there'll be a little sign of recovery. See, I'm on the other side of the world from the United States. I woke up this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Isn't it nice to be retired in paradise? Yes, it is. But that's because the market opens here at 8:30 p.m. That's when the market and everything interesting over there starts to happen. So sometimes I don't go to bed till 6 a.m., but that's okay. I like that. Nothing's happening at 6 a.m. anyway, anywhere. Unless the party's just ending. So, from the pool side here, I'm telling you, I go to sleep and it's amazing. Sometimes I go to sleep and Bitcoin changed $2,000 or $3,000 in price from the time I went to sleep to the time I get up. Well, let me tell you, it's going to creep back, and then all of a sudden, the spigot's going to close on the sell side. And it's going to go up 10,000 in a day. So if you're out saying, I'll just get back in, believe me, you could go take a nap and miss $8,000. Because when it moves hard. It comes down hard, and yes, it comes down harder than it goes up. That's true. But there's a lot of people who forced this market down through selling to get the weak hands out. The weak hands didn't sell first. The weak hands were there to ride it up. They just wanted off the roller coaster after the first dip. That's all. They were scared of the second dip. They wanted it to go over that hill and come down and yell, ho, ho, don't do me another hill. Stop me at the bottom and let me out. Well, in order to get over that big hill, the whales had to sell. And the whales will want back in, and they'll buy back in, and that'll bring up, that could run from 105,000 to 110 pretty quick. And 110 won't excite anybody. But after the selling stops, that buying just keeps on coming. Everybody who's been scared, or the first time that something bad happens, earnings is coming up on Wall Street. Let somebody miss earnings and see what that does. Everything's running on AI now. All the big Wall Street players, all counting on AI. Well, I lived through the computer boom. I lived through it from the early time. I was networking Apple IIs to common hard drives at an outrageous expense of $40,000 to do 2 Apple IIs to one 10-megabyte hard drive back in like 1980. So I was there, and I remember when the race to the internet and the race to communication boards were there. And there was CompuServe, and then there was AOL. And I was on the inside at CompuServe seeing what was going on. And they would buy new equipment every 4 months. And AI's doing it with these data centers. Oh, we need this AI chip. And then the video comes out with another name. They say, we got an improved one. No, I don't smoke. I don't know what that is. But NVIDIA comes out with a new chip and they go buy it. CompuServe did it. Every time they came out with a bigger disk drive, they buy it. Outrageously priced. Back then in 1982, one disk drive cost $28,000 and would hold 300 megabytes. Then they come out with a 400 megabyte model, and by golly, CompuServe would take all of their disk drives and replace them with the 400. And then they take the 300s and put them up in the corner in a warehouse, stacked on top of each other, 20 foot tall. And the reason I say that is, we got a military plane going overhead. And the reason I say that is I remember how they spent money hand over fist because they had to capture the market. And it doesn't make any sense. Well, then AOL did the same thing. And they all were counting on the fact that they had to be first and they had to take every advantage and they had to buy every new disk drive and every new... Back then they were using mini computers. They were using PDP-10s from DEC, Digital Equipment Corporation. Remember DEC? Where are they now? You don't hear of them anymore. Well, I was there, and this AI thing reminds me of that. They're all spending money like the Three Stooges in the old pay you back routine. Look it up on YouTube. I'm not going to put a copy of it here. But basically, Larry tells Mo, well, Mo tells Larry, where's my $20? So Larry hands Mo, says, I don't have 20, here's 10. I owe you 10. And then Curly looks at Mo and says, hey, you owe me 20. So Mo hands a 10 to Curly and says, well, I don't have 20, but here's 10, I owe you 10. And then Larry says to Curly, you owe me 20. He says, well, I don't have 20, I got 10. So he gives the first 10 back to Larry where it started. He said, here's 10, I owe you 10. And then Larry hands it to Mo and said, here's a 10 I owe you. And Mo hands it back to Curly and says, here's the last 10 I owe you. And then Curly hands it back to Larry and says, here's the 10 I owe you. Larry takes his own 10, puts it back in his pocket, and everybody's paid. Well, that's exactly what this AI spending billions and billions. Oracle gives, $10 billion to OpenAI, and OpenAI gives $10 billion to Intel or AMD, and AMD gives $10 billion to somebody else. And I mean, they're passing around this money in a big circle. It reminds me of the Three Stooges. Sometime the bloom's going to come off this AI rose. Now, I think AI is a wonderful thing. I use it every single day, multiple times a day. ChatGPT on my iPhone is a wonderful thing. I use it all the time. However, I think financially there's going to be a few losers. And it's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars spent and wasted. Everybody says Apple's behind. Actually, I think Tim Cook's a lot smarter than somebody's giving him the credit for. He's letting everybody else do all the work. He's got the platform that they can put their AI on. And he can get paid to just put it on his platform. He's the one's not spending this huge amounts of money. They're spending a little, but they're not spending anything like Meta or Google or AWS. They're spending all the money on AI. Well, the purpose of all this is the bloom's going to come off that rose. And there's going to be a correction in stock prices. And when that correction hits, people are going to come running to Bitcoin. So don't be weak hands. Don't make me holler. Don't make me shout. Just turn your pockets inside out and buy the dip. If you've got cash to buy this dip, which I don't, I'm fully invested. I'm retired. I don't try to make any, I don't have any employment, J-O-B, where I could just stick extra money in. I got it all in now. I'm a maxi, triple maxi. But I'm telling you right now, don't be weak hands. Buy this dip. Not financial advice, just life advice, because I'm living good. I'm happy. I'm living good. The sun is shining. Tomorrow's another day after this day. At least I hope I'll wake up tomorrow. But don't be scared. Don't be one of weak hands. Don't be bailing out of this airplane right now because the ride's about to get good.